Rock, 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 rock. Good morning. August 23rd, noon. And the Pirates won last night. I'm chill. Good morning. Thank you for all being here, and we want to begin with our opening prayer, and then we're going to be greeted by Ronnie, go into the intention of the lesson today, and do a short self-healing again, a breathing exercise to get us centered. So thank you for your attention, and now for you to have your full attention on this, please make sure you're in a quiet space. Please make sure your cell phones are on mute or off, and just be with me. Just be with me. If a small number of people gather lovingly together with absolute purity and sanctity, with their hearts free of the world, experiencing the emotions of the kingdom and the powerful magnetic forces of the divine, and being at one in their happy fellowship, this gathering will exert its influence over all the earth. The nature of that band of people, the words they speak, the deeds they do, will unleash the best walls of heaven, sending us blessings and providing a foretaste of eternal bliss. Now for self-healing, what I want us to do again is do the deep breathing. Mostly what I want you to do is get in touch with self. So the point will be to please put your hand, your dominant hand again, on your heart. Put the other hand on the solar plexus, which is right around your belly button. And just take in 3 deep breaths right now, bringing in the golden light through your crown chakra and exhaling, expelling toxins, shadows, stress, tension, okay? First breath, breathe out. Second breath, breathe in. Exhale. And third, in comes that golden dust from spirit, all the way through, ground you, and now exhale. All the shadows and the stress. And let's just be comfortable in our chair. Spirit, flow through me and touch my heart. Guide me along the path to my fulfillment of my journey of life. And now again, with your hand remaining on your heart chakra and your other hand remaining on your solar plexus, we're going to restore ourselves to ourselves. So if you will say out loud, I love myself, myself loves me. I love myself, myself loves me. I love myself, myself loves me. Just be there in that heartbeat and in that breath. Be present. Be present to your glorious sacred self as we move through the lesson. Now we're going to be greeted with a song by Ronnie.
This song became popular in 1966, 1967, written and sung by Buffalo Springfield. It's called For What It's Worth, and it is still very relevant, continues to be relevant all these years. Something happening here. What it is ain't exactly clear. There's a man with a gun over there, telling me I got to beware. It's time we stop, children, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Battle lines being drawn. Nobody's right if everybody's wrong. The people speaking their minds, getting so much resistance from behind. It's time we What a field day for the heat. 1,000 people in the street, singing songs and carrying signs, mostly say hooray for our side. It's time we stop, yeah, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Paranoia strikes deep into your life, it will creep. Starts when you're always afraid. You step out of line, the man come and take you away. It's time we stop, yeah, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Stop, yeah, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Stop, yeah, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down.
Thank you, Ronnie. And Ronnie will be back. So again, good morning. The first thing we want to do is get aligned with the intention of today's message. The intention for today, to become related to our experience of ourselves as spiritual beings, discovering our level of commitment, uncovering our level of awareness, recovering our access to the bridge between the physical plane and the spiritual domain. What is your level of commitment? I mean, just quietly sit there and look. What's your level of awareness? Who are you as a spiritual being? Does it even come into your thoughts? If not during the day, when you meditate or when you pray. An aspirant, a student, initiate, an apprentice or master or teacher, are there any of those go-fors or any of those, are you located in any one of those spaces? Nothing bad, nothing wrong, but given how many times we've been on this planet, many of you may have already come in as a level of master. And if so, are you holding out your hand and guiding those less conscious, blinded by the material world? And if you're an aspirant, thank you for being here. If you're an aspirant, are you lining up access to teachers, to readings? Are you spending time in your meditation, asking for guidance and getting related to your student guides and teachers? From the Coltrane Bible, which I'll be quoting a lot of today, most men, women, seek spiritually is to be left alone, undisturbed. Those who seek the truth about their nature are men or women becoming more than human. They tread the road to Godhead. The apathetic man or woman becomes deluded under the influence of his or her own ideas and imagination. He or she readily accepts teachings requiring no thought, no effort. Such an outlook is not only degrading, but it condemns him or her to disinheritance. Book of Lucius, chapter 8 in the Coltrane Bible. I'm going to be taking some pieces now that I'm going to read you from the book itself. What's exciting about this is it's the Coltrane Bible has many chapters. The text I have only has the last 5 books, called Celtic Texts of the Coel Book, C-O-E-L book. The Coltrane Bible was said to have been written in the 13th century, published in the 13th century. And it picks up from where Christ has died And Joseph of Arimathea, who was also the same Joseph that purchased the tomb that Christ was laid in, took the family away from the area. So all of those brothers, sisters, apostles who went to go were transformed into being apostles on the ocean. They went to Britain. And so these books from this Bible are said to come from the readings and teachings that were developed at that point in time. And I'm really excited about it because everything that's coming up for us right now, whether it's the I Am discourses, which were of Saint Germain, again coming from the 13th or 14th century, a lot of the teachings that the Tibetan is mentioning, referring to, in the books I'm sharing with you about that, those were published in 1934. But it's powerful to see the synchronicity. It's powerful to see the cross current of thought, which will bring us to the same place, which should give you hope, which really should give you hope. Each soul seed, you or I, is implanted into the whole being according to a preset destiny. And from this grow the two branches of the whole being, the soul spirit and the mortal body. Though not of mortal elements, the soul spirit, by law of affinity, draws to itself particular elements when entering matter. And so all soul spirits manifest differently on the sphere of matter and mortality. However, too much is said of spirituality in a world where it is an infrequent manifestation. Only a few are in sight of the destination, while by far the most are still well back along the road. To these, the conditions to be met along the way and the location of refreshing wells and sources of sustenance are the most important things and the most serviceable information. So unless you are one who has the end in sight, do not aim to immerse yourself too soon in the waters of spiritual rapture and devotion. There is a proper time and place for anything and for everything. The greatest gift of spirituality, the greatest gift by which the soul spirit becomes conscious of its own existence, is not a state of easeful bliss. On the contrary, it is a driving force spurring the soul spirit ever onward along the road to Godhood, to the tackling of greater obstacles. The first struggle is towards self-conquest, mastery over the mortal. And we can see that if you look at the 7 force centers in the body, beginning with 1, base, root, solar plexus, moving into the heart, the throat, the third eye, and the crown. That's actually our progress of development. That's our growth path. Mastery lies, this mastery of being human, the mastery of our mortality, requires mastery of all those forces and energy associated with us grounding ourselves on the first physical plane, our sexuality and our expression of it, our coming to terms with being real, being in time, and then that place that we call self-expression, I am, which is your solar plexus. That is the level of self-mastery. And if you look, many of us, even at 55, 60, 65, are still locked into dealing with those force centers in our bodies. Mastery occurs when we've moved beyond that, when we have some sense of who we are there and what our difficulties are to master. And we move into the heart chakra, the loving of self, the expression of gratitude for being here, to the heart chakra, to the throat chakra, which is the expression of self, moving to the third eye that we open to see the divinity in ourselves and all. And the crown chakra, that's the end game. The crown chakra represents the expression of our divinity. And so moving through all of that, all of those four centers, being responsible for all of them. Below the waist is self-mastery, is self-awareness. Above the waist is mastery. And through the crown chakra, dealing with and coming to terms with those aspects, integrating who we are, mortal divine, mind over spirit, we can then fulfill on the expression of our divinity, the merging of ourselves with spirit. And of course, nothing's linear. Obviously, nothing's linear. But that at least gives you some direction to see, where are you and your levels of consciousness? Where are you? What are you managing? What are you taking on? What's the game for you right now? Especially dealing with the fact that we've had this pandemic. And it's taken some things away, but it's also given us the opportunity to be with ourselves. To be with ourselves. The title of this chapter is called The Forest Mission, which I think is wonderful. And it has here, my forest friends, the soul spirits of grown men and women are often enclosed within a hard-set cement of materialism. Compare this state with the innocence of a child, whose soul spirit, unstained by evil, still retains affinity with the source of its being. But as the mortal body develops, so it closes in upon the being inside, encasing it in ever-thickening layers of grossness. Soon the light no longer penetrates, and the recollection of the beauty beyond is stifled. The vision departs, and the soul spirit, shut off from contact with its homeland, sinks into forgetful slumber. The fleshy prison walls hold it fast, and communication with the freedom light outside becomes more and more difficult. The beauty fades away in the enveloping darkness. So what is there to do? Be present. Manage your word. This is where we were talking about, and Saint Germain is saying that the practice to bring to bear is the management of the noise. But what's the commitment? Is the commitment to be awakened? As we opened it up, it says, let me sleep. Let me sleep. Nowhere on the path of your inheritance as a divine being. My friends, I do not wish to dwell unnecessarily on these aspects of the higher teaching. They are ably enough presented in the good books, and you may study them there. I would rather now speak of the divine qualities. The greatest of these is love, for it is through love that man can best learn about immortality. True love brings all other virtues in its wake, and with them must come spiritual awakening. With the spiritual awakening comes the influx of calming power, which makes men and women tranquil and quiet. It stills the rowdy haste, which saps vitality. It calms the unproductive bustle. Dispute and argument upon spiritual matters becomes futile, for the awakened soul spirit is no longer dependent on unsubstantiated outward beliefs, but upon inward spiritual realities and assurances. Others have said that here, on the sphere of matter and mortality, men and women cannot have assurance, but from my own experience, it will appear, and it does appear, that assurance can be gained. There is a road to certainty, albeit weary, albeit long. A soul spirit gives out a kind of glow called the spirit light, which can be seen by many of those who are spiritually awakened. It envelops the earthly body and forms something like a radiant ring above the head. In good men, it appears bright and shining, but in the unrighteous, it looks dull and drab. That is why it is said, the faces of those who have abstained from wrongdoing shall shine like the sun. It also indicates the different death conditions of people. However, it will be well for you to remember that abstaining from wrongdoing is not good enough. You must act positively in the service of good. And this brings us back to the lesson we were talking about as we're in the seventh ray. Awake, express, take action, be in the service of humanity. The goal is upliftment, not self-satisfaction, not discovering you're in a like group so you're comfortable, your little ego's made right by, I think I'm on the right track. No, operating from your word. Operating from your word, the word that I am soul spirit, the word I am committed to opening myself up. I will take action and be present to managing the noise. I do make my promise to not add to the din. I make my promise. I make my promise. As within, so without. As within, so without. So begin to look. The exercises are to begin to look with those levels, those issues, those shadows, those patterns and habits that keep occurring, that you can see you've not reached a level of mastery. Whether it's addictions, whether it's expression of emotion irresponsibly, whether it's an out integrity, you just don't keep your word. You're not where you say you will be. You don't do what you said you would do. There is no count-on-ability. Because when you can't be counted on by other people, believe me, you know that. Your out integrity is such that it has you shrink. It has you shrink that power inside you. You don't trust yourself. You don't trust yourself. And we've got to begin there. Begin with giving your word, keeping your word. Begin with being responsible with what comes out of your mouth. Are you operating from fear or from love? It's very simple to begin to direct yourself on opening yourself up as a spiritual being. Begin to look there and begin to take on those exercises, prayer, meditation, yoga, good food, health, expressions of love and appreciation. Begin to take these on. This is access to your expression as a spiritual being. Take it on. Take it on. Go to bed with a promise. Wake up in action, expressing appreciation and gratitude. It's the opening. And those of you who know and those of you who lead, extend your hand. Extend your hand to those slumbering on the path as you go along. And if they reach out, lift up. It's really pretty simple. So, aspirant or student, initiate, apprentice, master, or teacher, all of them are available to you. And it's not linear, but you can look at it as a staircase to heaven. Where are you on the staircase to heaven? Where would you put yourself on your level of awareness of self and of others, of group and humanity? Begin to intensify your experience of your citizenship as a divine being, as a member of a group, your soul tribe, as a member of a nation, and as a global citizen, operating that what you say and do does make a world difference, does make a world difference. We are the custodians of our lives. We guard the portals of our soul with the divinely given insights of grace and wisdom through prayer and meditation. We do not fuel our fears and live in doubt of our spiritual power. As I hold my hand out for the protection and light and love of the angels, it shall be given. Amen. Let's hear from Ronnie. To close out our day.
I believe for every drop of rain that falls, a flower grows. I believe that somewhere in the darkest night, a candle glows. I believe for everyone who goes astray, someone will come to show the way. I believe, I believe, I believe above the storm, the smallest prayer will still be heard. I believe that someone in that great somewhere hears every word. Every time I hear a newborn baby cry, or touch a leaf, or see the sky, then I know I believe.
Thank you, Ronnie. I want to thank you for being here, and I want to put out again that I'm available. Sacred Journey of Life is a spiritual center, and it's a healing order. And we are and have available to you people who can engage with you as you uncover, unconceal, discover what may be missing for you, or actually are committed to an inquiry to see what that is. Please private message me, call, information's on Facebook, engage, take a 15-minute consult with me or anyone that I could recommend to you to look. Actually take a look. It's an inquiry. It's an inquiry. It's not about getting advice. It's not getting my point of view. It's the inquiry where you open yourself up to what's next. We also request that you go to our channel, The Sacred Journey of Life on YouTube, and subscribe. Subscribe. And we appreciate your donations that actually do support the ongoing development of the website and our ministry, our outreach for the most part. And invite you to continue to participate with us on Sundays. Save these videos. They will be archived in the library on YouTube. Right now, they are available to you on our Facebook page, The Sacred Journey of Life, under videos. So you can return to this to visit some of this language. So thank you for being here today. Wednesday, we have the chat room at 6. So if you have questions or you want to offer anything, or again, be an inquiry, join us, please. Have a great week. I love you. Namaste.